Today we're not even really concerned with what time it runs, or at least I'm not. I just want to see the thing pull a wheelie. I mean, if we can just get like that much higher off the ground, I'd call that a win.
Break the fingers, but that's wrapped all the way around it.
Well, you already broke your finger.
Yeah. So we see back in here, this is where the one-way clutch goes, or the sprag, and the inner race spins right in here. And sometimes they can wipe out the case back there, but if you just drill a little hole right here, this should be the oil return from the cooler. You drill it right there, and you can lubricate the backside of the race. So we're gonna try that, and it should be, if you drill right on the edge of this hole, you should hit the race right where you want it. Okay, that's just a 1/16 drill bit. Let's see where that puts that. Right about, I probably could have gone a little bit more, but this will put it still within the race. You can kind of see where the wear mark for the inner race is, but that'll help lubricate it. No, this is the one I bought as a core when I was mocking up the motor. No, the Stude transmission's everything's still all hooked up. So I'm gonna have basically a spare transmission if I need to. If this doesn't work, then...
Okay, so this case is totally untested. We don't know what effect those grooves are gonna have or anything.
I bought it off of Craigslist for $100 and I used it as mock-up when I was building the car. When I took it apart, it really didn't look all that bad. Everything was there. Had a couple clutches and frictions that were kind of burned up, so those weren't good, but for the most part it looked okay.
So this is the main reason for doing all of this.
Yeah. All the other upgraded parts in there is just so that I can run this. So I'll have a button on the steering wheel or on the shifter or whatever. I'll get up to the lights. And I'll start to stage the car, and I push in the button, and then I can stomp on the gas, and it's going to rev up to however much your converter is, or if you got a box, whatever it's set at. But basically what it does is when this is in, it holds it in first and reverse at the same time. It just basically locks up the transmission so it can't go anywhere. So that you can rev the engine up like that, and then once you let go of the button, bam, it's in first gear immediately, and it just takes off like a rocket.
Pops huge wheelies.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Yep. Hopefully it will pop wheelies. Now, aside from these scratches, these gouges in the bores here, just want to do some light cleanup on there. Actually, what would be smart, we'll test it on this one first. That might work good. Oh shit, yeah. Oh yeah, that works great. Pretty nice, actually. Well, the accumulator isn't really even used on this setup, but I still don't want it to bleed by pressure. But see that one's on this one? You know, at 200 PSI, if we have a little bit of bleed off, it's not really gonna hurt us that much, I don't think.
You know, working on an automatic transmission makes it almost look like we know what we're doing.
Yeah. I'm gonna spray this thing down with that paint remover and then re-pressure wash it, and then it should be ready for assembly. Let that sit. Heck, now it's time to do homework. Figure out how it's gonna go back together. So I've already built the pump, which is pretty much all that. Built the front drum, pretty much all those pieces. Built the rear drum, which is all those pieces. Basically, we'll be assembling all this. So really, if we clean off that housing, then we can get started on putting this together. Still haven't quite got that carburetor figured out yet.
A little bit angry sounding.
Yeah. Well, that's right. I'm gonna put the bushing and the seal in this bad boy. And that one's got to go in a particular way because there's a hole in it. And this is the parking gear, so there's a rod that fits in there, pulls that up into the gear on the tail shaft. That's how park works.
Pretty experienced with that, I see.
Yeah. One might say I'm all right with my fingers. Looks like this is how this is supposed to go together, like that. And this is for the kickdown band. Where did this spring come from? Is that supposed to go up in here? Seems like maybe.
So I've been trying to put the second gear servo together here, and Brandon doesn't really remember exactly how it came apart. And the book we have shows a totally different style.
I'm thinking we're gonna be lucky if we get this thing back together.
So I've been trying to put the second gear servo together here, and Brandon doesn't really remember exactly how it came apart. And the book we have shows a totally different style of second. Supposedly this is like for like a heavy duty style transmission or something.
Yeah, it says many earlier and some later high performance 727 transmissions used a non-controlled load servo.
Okay, and then for one of them, we think this spring came out of it for this rod. And then maybe on the other transmission, this spring came out for this rod. And from what we can gather online, it looks like maybe this spring is for like 62 to 70 transmissions. And this one is for like other transmissions. And it just looks like this spring fits everything a lot better because it's got this small end here that goes over the rod. And then it's got this big end here that fits over that. And then it all pushes together. So we're gonna use this spring and hopefully it works.
Hopefully it's right. Maybe somebody will see this and be like, oh my God, that's the wrong spring. Don't run that. Too late, already blown up the transmission.
We already blew it up. By the time you see this, it'll have already blown up.
Yeah. Nice and warm. We decided this one?
I guess so.
It's on you if it's wrong.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Thought this was a democracy. That we all had a vote.
And that should go down in there. So this is where it might get tricky because we might need a compressor of some sort. Oh yeah, there we go. This is the low reverse servo. I don't think that there was any springs underneath that one. Hope not. Yeah, the other one's two-piece. This is how the other one looks. The one I got, this is all billet. Those two servos are in. Next, we're gonna put the sprag clutch in. So this is the overrun clutch. It's the drag sprag. It's got 16 elements instead of 12. So it's gonna have better holding power. So it spins that way, doesn't spin that way. So it's a one-way clutch, essentially. And that side goes up, so it's gonna go in there like that. So it's kind of a weird setup because you kind of do away with the old support housing bolts and you have to put smaller ones in, and that's why there's these little ferrules. We gotta drag this clutch up into the case and we're gonna use the bolts to drag it up. So I wanna make sure that we don't gall them. I wanna do this where I can watch it. And it looks like I'm going in just a hair crooked, and I think I need to pull in up here. They're only 1/4 bolts, so I don't really want to get too crazy with them.
Can't give it a little bit of help with the dead blow?
You don't want to knock all the rollers out, yeah. Huh. That is not going in as smooth as I was hoping. I think it's going in. It is. We got the clutch in. This is the band anchor strut, so this is what's going to operate the low reverse band. Okay, and our clutch works because it only goes one way. You can spin it that way, not the other way.
So oil flows into that piston goes, and then that clamps the band.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit, you know what I didn't do though? I wanted to oil the sprag clutch before I put this drum on, and I forgot. But now the drum's on, I don't want to pull out the inner race and have all the things pop out of it. But it looks like all I gotta do is just dump a little oil down in there. It'll just make it a little bit more messier. This is the little anchor here that's gonna make all this operate. Okay, so I already lost the band strut in there. I'm not sure I'm gonna get it out. Okay, well that's good. Oh, hey, there it is. The book shows it going in after everything's in. 10, I think. And that comes up, see how it squeezes? That's how that works. Now that I got the plugs in, we can actually check this out. So this should be the hole for that. For money on that guy, let's see if this other one works. So far so good. It looks like tail shaft goes on next. So normally this is where the governor goes, but I've removed the governor and just put a spacer on there. With the manual valve body, you don't use the governor. So governor is what helps control the shifts. Don't need that. The rear annulus. Annulus. It's a ring gear for the planetaries. First drum rear end. I labeled this one. This is the rear planetary.
What's it do?
It spins and it makes the car go.
I figured the answer would be something like that.
The sun gear. The bushing's too tight in the back. I'm gonna have to try and file that bushing out. I think that's a little bit too tight though. Looks like it's kind of having trouble getting on that last bushing. This is not the way to do this. Oh yeah, it definitely has got a ways to go in there. And you can see because of how tight it was, they're probably not really all that good anymore, but we need to get a smaller hone. Just try and hone it out a little bit, get to fit right.
Grab something to eat while we're at it.
Yeah, that was a brilliant idea. Oh yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect, nice and snug. They cleaned up really well. See, we went with the heavy duty front planet on this, got the 5 pinion and steel splines. So here's a standard car one. It's all aluminum. It's got 3 pinion gears, and the main issue is the aluminum splines. Those are easy to strip out. So mainly I just wanted the steel splines. A 4 would have been plenty for what I'm doing, but a 4 is good, 5's better. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's worse. Probably not. Oh, we almost got that section, the gear train section together. For our lever, we're using a 4.2. This one had a 3.8 in it, and probably that would be okay, but CRT recommended 4.2 with their trans brake. So it gives this piston more leverage on the band. So you're 4.2 to 1. How it would work relative to the shifts, I'm not really sure, because I don't really understand how this thing works. I'm just taking it apart and putting it back together. Okay, so this is our rear clutch. I got a billet piston in there, Alto red frictions and Colleen steels. 74 and up, they used this beefier spring. So this is a 74 and on, and then this is pre-74. But there's not a whole lot of meat there, and if your piston punches through this, then it'll come out of the seals and all that, and you'll lose drive. So this is a beefier one. I actually bought this one brand new, but I got a used one, and the used one actually fit better, like it had more concave to it, I guess. So it fit better onto the piston because I didn't want a bunch of slop in between the piston and the spring. This bad boy is the front drum, and it's a billet unit. And I drilled the extra hole here for the trans brake, and it's got the wide bushing, 15 springs with the billet retainer. And for clutches, it's got 6 frictions in here with Colleen steels to get my clearances right. It feels like it's sitting on the washer. So this is the edge that it can ride on. So this is the thin land one. Is this the same one? Nope. This is the thick land one. This is the one that needs to be in there. I think it might have actually been riding right there. I think that's where it was hitting. So I think I gotta rebuild this drum. So all that work just to get the drum that's got the bigger land on it. It's just slightly bigger than that one.
Wow. You got it?
It's starting to get heavy. Okay, so the front band only goes in one way. See how those anchors don't go all the way? We want the notch to go forward. Nope, just barely. And then picked up heavy duty band strut. That's a stock band strut. This is the heavy duty band strut. The back one, I didn't put a heavy duty one in because it's so short, but this one's long, so it has a fair amount of room to try and bend. So that's how that strut goes in there.
Seems kind of hokey to me, but okay. That's Chrysler product for you.
Chrysler for you, yeah.
It's just like how they use like 10 billion spacers on all their pulleys instead of just building the mountings correctly.
Yeah, next is put the pump on. It says to line up the pump. They say to use 3/8 bolts, cut the heads off, and use them as a guide, which is a really good idea. I also went through and machined the third gear. Oh, I didn't machine it, I used a grinder wheel and I opened up that third gear port, and that's only for the trans brake. That's supposed to help it leave a little cleaner. Go. Oh boy, yep, she's full weight now just about. Now it's time to put the tail shaft housing on.
I saw about a 35 there at
Yeah,
one
that's
point.
about what I was seeing too. Oh. Well, 36 to 84 thousandths.
Oh, geez. I think I saw it hit 36 once.
I think I did too. I think I did.
Pretty sure I saw it hit 36 once. I think it's fine.
I do believe you're right. Yeah, so I don't need a speedometer, so I'm not running one. So I took the speedometer housing and I cut the snout off that the cable threads into, and then I just tapped the hole inside there for a plug. So I'm just gonna use this as a plug. And I tap those threads way too deep.
So they designed this with this stupid ass square end here that's not quarter and it's not 3/8.
It's not 9/32, it's not 11/32.
You can't get any 12 point to fit on it, no 6 point to fit. So we just took...
We took an 11/32
and
and
crushed
we
it in the
squished
vise so that it'll fit on the flat sides. Hopefully it'll work.
Got it. But now it's stuck on there, but
Well, good, it'll just be on there for the next time.
yeah, we'll just leave it on there for the next guy.
With engineering like that, it's no wonder that the most die-hard car people are Mopar people.
You really gotta be committed to own a Mopar.
You really do. Of course, I feel like most dudes working underneath their Imperial probably don't put this much, you know, into making sure that that's that precise.
This is the accumulator. This is a billet unit here. It's a built-in blocker rod. It's supposed to soften up shifts, I believe. And we're not about making soft shifts. Oh, damn, dude. Time to put in the valve body. 200 PSI, she's turned up.
Gold!
So what's cool about these 727s is unlike a Turbo 350 or something, you can pull the whole valve body out. You don't have to take it apart. The lower part of the valve body isn't part of the case. Well, knock something off the old bucket list. Rebuild an automatic transmission. All the go fast parts are kind of expensive, so if I can just try and do it myself, I'm gonna try. Oh, I know what I didn't put on. Park neutral switch.
And the purpose of that is to one day fail and leave you stranded somewhere.
Yep.
All that so that we can have that little wire right there.
Yeah. I wired the trans brake button into the ignition box. So if I put the trans brake on and then wood it, it sets the RPM limiter at 3,000. Then when you let off, it lets off that. And then on the line lock, I hooked it up to the ignition box too, so that I can lower my rev limiter for doing burnouts. So I'm just not streaming this thing at 7 grand doing a burnout.
Well, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I set it at 6. So, I mean, there's still some room there for a good burnout.
So at this point, we need to make sure all the gears and the transmission work, and Brandon doesn't have enough fuel right now to actually go test it on the street. So what better way to do it than to do a third gear burnout inside of the garage here?
Third gear works.
Oh, I love the smell of burnt rubber on the weekends.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so today we're down at the racetrack to see what this new transmission can do. Today we're not even really concerned with what time it runs, or at least I'm not. I just want to see the thing pull a wheelie. I mean, if we can just get like that much tire off the ground, I'd call that a win. Last time Brandon was here, he found his fastest time was just when he would mash on the gas and not even stage it up. And obviously something's not right with that. So we're probably going to be doing quite a bit of suspension work and stuff like that today.
First gear feels way tighter. I don't know. I don't think the track's gonna hold it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I need to get a good burnout in, get the slicks warm. But yeah, just barely rolling into it on the starting line.
Well, they need to get one of these dragsters out here to do a huge burnout all the way down the track.
I know. They need to do that a few times. But honestly, with first gear the way it is, it might actually pull a tire without the trans brake.
Well, it better pull a tire today. Like, I don't even care what time it runs. I just want to see a wheelie.
I know. I just want to see a nice small one that comes right back down.
Or, you know, a big, huge one that rips the GoPro off the back bumper, I mean.
I don't think my front axle could take a big wheelie. There's no way. That motor's too heavy.
This is what we came to the racetrack for, just so Brandon could ride around on the mini bike. We brought the car and everything, but we didn't actually intend to race it. We just came so Brandon could ride the. It's his birthday, by the way, so he can do whatever he wants.
9.213 60 foot.
What happened, superstar?
Oh, I went lean when I mashed on it. I just changed the air bleeds on the idle circuit, and I leaned them out, so it's lean down there. So I need to compensate on the squirter or something.
How many sizes did you go up?
Like 3 sizes.
Oh, see, I would have went 1 size, and I'd have brought the drill bits and crap here with you.
I
Come
only
on.
had the 1 size drill bit.
Oh, dude, I was pretty disappointed. Like, I had you zoomed in perfect. It was gonna be a beautiful picture. And then all of a sudden I see you doing this, and I'm like, oh, Mother Mary.
Yeah, well, I gotta...
And your burnout was weak, dude. I got like 3 pictures of it, but it wasn't a typical Brandon super duper burnout.
No, we'll get there, We gotta get this thing dialed in. I'm thinking it needs more accelerator pump down low, like right off the
bat. When you went to mash on it, would it go down to 10, 9?
No, it went up to like 15.
15?
Yeah. See that?
I mean, that's definitely adding more to it.
And I can always richen up the idle circuit a little bit just with the screws, and that may leave it with just enough fuel to take off.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this works and we're not down for the day because of drilling out some jets.
Oh no, we'll find a way to make that better. Ah!
This will be the spot right before we cut to commercial break. Will the accelerator pump be installed?
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Okay, now I just need to adjust them. Yeah, it definitely fattened it up. Drops down to 11 on that tap. Took off that time. I think it's still too lean. Also, the tack crapped out at like 6,400 and it just stayed there. Their shit's not right. I should be getting a mile an hour. I should be getting my ET.
Yeah, you're not.
But they're not getting any of that stuff. Their system's down.
So unfortunately, they're having some trouble with the beams today, something about a new system that they got, so we can't get a time on the car. But fortunately, we didn't really come to get a time on the car today. We just want to see wheelies.
That was the first run with the trans brake. Did it pull a tire at all?
You know,
It felt like it was really close.
I couldn't tell on the camera.
It felt like it. It was
Did it launch hard?
Oh yeah. It slammed me back in the seat really hard. Yeah, well, I was all excited and I grabbed third gear and I went straight through a second. I was like, oh fuck, popped it back in a second and then grabbed third. My ladder bars don't look like they're all that straight anymore. That ladder bars look like they got a...
Oh, really?
Tell me what you think. I don't know, it's hard to say.
So what'd you do to her this time?
Well, turn the trans brake RPM up to 3,500. See what that does.
What are we airing down to?
10 PSI.
Woo, he gave that bike a run for his money.
That trans brake gets the tranny hot quick.
Yeah, most of these guys are locals or whatever. What's up?
What?
You letting it cool down or something?
Yeah, the tranny is getting a little bit warm. It needs a few minutes to cool down.
So one last pass.
One last pass. We'll see what happens.
I want to see like 3 feet of front tire.
Dude, hey, I'll be happy with 2 inches.
Oh, you would.
2
No
inches,
pressure.
2-inch air gap on both tires. How about 4 on one side and 2 on the other?
So at this point, we only got one tire about an inch off the ground. The biggest reason we couldn't get more is that the passenger side rear was coming up and bouncing off the fender and sending the front end back down. Now you know we couldn't just leave this episode there, so after heading home, we did a few mods to the suspension to try to keep that from happening. It was mostly just changing the mounting points for the shocks and changing spring rates. Anything more than that is going to require a bunch of fabrication and a whole winter to do it. All right, so last time we were here, we didn't quite get the wheelie we were after, and we also couldn't even get a time on the car because they were having trouble with their system. So now we're back to see if we can.
I made new brackets for the coilovers to basically raise up the back of the car, and then I was able to loosen up the adjustment on the coilovers for the spring so that they were pretty loose. Just snugged up on the spring, and then, I don't know, a couple turns into that. And then put the heavier springs back in it, so they're the 250s. Springs. Feels better.
This time out, they were also spraying a new formula at the starting line to give the track more bite, resulting in cars doing this all day long. Surely we could get it up this time around. Bottle of fuel in one hand, a burger in the other.
They're both right down.
Gotta hurry up and get up there when they call time onlys.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah, dude, how's it going? How's it going? Yeah.
Well, we ended up running like 6 more times that day, and unfortunately that was the best we could get out of it. About 3 inches or so out of the driver's side tire. And in case you were curious, we ended up running in the 650s, which is right up there with the best this thing's ever done. But here's the thing. If you look from the correct angle, boost up the shadows by 100, increase the midtones by exactly 30%, drop the highlights just a smidge, then slice the picture with a razor knife and lift the car a little bit and blend the track, you can see here that we got at least 4 inches of tire on both sides. And if you disagree, who cares? Because what would Knot Rod be without a half-ass, wholehearted attempt at a victory ending? Someday this car will get both tires off the ground, and when it does, you'll see it right here on Knot Rod.
Torque spec is 107 inch-pounds. 110 foot-pounds, right? I've already done that. I've done that. We didn't do that, but that's okay.
That was 141 miles an hour, folks. 5.2 seconds.
I think those are for the governor anyways.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was a governor once.
It's the race of the production cars. You want to make a bet? They're both slow, dude. That Hemi car ain't that fast. Oh, no way.
Tell me what you think about that, because I know you got something to
Dude,
say
bro,
about
that was the craziest dead hook I've ever seen, and the Mopar didn't react fast enough. That might have been a Tennessee Bumblebee he got beat by. That was pretty funny for 2 production cars racing.
Cut.
End scene.
Last thing you want to do is get ran over by a fox body.